Welcome to Access Podcast. In today's episode, we'll look into how AI impacts the recruitment industry. In 2026, we have seen recruitment being reshaped on three fronts at the same time by artificial intelligence, by the new EU legislations, and by the corporate restructuring, one of the biggest we've seen in the tech industry since years. To help us make sense of all of this, I'm delighted to be joined by Anna Bezsmertna, Head of Recruitment at IGAMINGHUNT. Anna, welcome. Happy to have you. Would you like to tell us a few words about yourself?
I work at the company named IGAMINGHUNT. We are a recruitment and HR consultancy company. We work in a very fast-paced industry of iGaming, and we have to deal with different companies, with different time zones, different countries. Our team covers recruitment all over the world, but the majority of our clients are in Europe, but we also cover the North America, Latin America, Asia, Middle East, etc. So we have to deal with different time zones, candidates with different nationalities, different accents, different backgrounds. And our team had to adopt a lot of AI tools, AI services, and implement them in our daily routines.
I would like to jump straight into the buzz, the social media at the moment, as regards to the regulations and compliances. The new EU Act should have become fully enforced on August the 2nd of this year. However, since yesterday, the outcome of the omnibus meeting was to postpone it to December 2027. From your perspective as the head of recruitment, how is this changing the way agencies and in-house recruitment teams are hiring with AI?
So the recruitment, as such, is considered high risk in this new EU act because everything related to recruitment, its hiring, its employment, is going to affect people's lives, and this is why it's being regulated now as a high risk part of AI use. So it's going to be interesting, and the recruitment approach, the hiring approach would slightly change, I think. First of all, the new act is saying that we have to make the decisions ourselves, that there should be a human touch
Right.
in the process. You cannot delegate it fully to the AI. You still have to involve a human there to make the final decision, not to keep the employees, potential employees, mistreated because of something that the AI thought was wrong.
Right.
So the HRs, again, they work with employees already, and they would have to build a lot of different policies that would reflect how the procedure looks like, and the use of AI should be announced to
Right.
the employees and to the potential employees, to the candidates, before the process is being started. So I would expect some more clarification from the decision-making organs that give us this European Union Act, because they should clarify how the process should look like
Absolutely.
and what templates, what policies we should stick to, or would it be completely up to any company's decision? It's still a little bit vague. So, but I would expect more compliance on that. Recruiters are used to be more on the outer side. Like, they don't have to dive into the labor law too
Right. Yeah.
deeply. Most of the recruiters,
Mhm.
lots of course do. Now they would need to understand
Right.
how to use the AI with the candidate from Spain, or how to use it for the candidate from Germany or from Cyprus,
Absolutely.
Ukraine, anywhere.
Now, Anna, you mentioned high risk systems. Um, what would be high risk systems under the AI Act?
So this is going to be any system that influences the decision-making process. The process doesn't look like one-step thing.
Mhm.
There is always several steps to be taken before the person is rejected or approved or hired. By person, I mean candidate, of course. So their application might be rejected, or it might be reviewed, might be approved, etc. So the screening of CVs, the note taking of the calls, of the video calls, mm, the final stage. For example, sometimes there are interviews that are entirely being held by the AI agent. Like you are answering the robot
Right.
about something, and this robot cannot decide whether the person is yes or no, whether they fit or not. And everything that I just mentioned, it has a great influence on people's lives. So their well-being, their ability to be treated fairly, to get their job, to get their pay, feed their families, pay the taxes, etc. So yeah, this act says that such high risk things, and anything that can influence people's lives, should be evaluated by humans, not by a robot, artificial intelligence.
Right. So this act is really just allowing the human interaction and is not really trying to stop using the AI tools.
Of course.
It's merely just wanting more regulations around the tools that you use in the process.
Yes, yes, because lots of people start to use the AI as toys, and they not understand how heavily it influences their lives. Um, some systems were already prohibited earlier this year, I think, or last year. Yes, it was in February last year.
Yeah.
That the another law prohibited the use of systems that analyze the patterns of mimics of eye patterns, behavior in the call, and this was prohibited because it's against, again, the basic human laws. So right now it is up to humans to evaluate those patterns. And you cannot say that there is a pattern. It's not like in this TV series, Lie to Me, I think it's called like
Yes.
that. It doesn't work like that, actually. There are some patterns that can be treated, that he lies or he says the truth, but still it cannot be adopted to any human being in the world.
Right. Okay. Now, very closely with this act is the EU Platform Work Directive. It's set to be implemented across Europe by the 2nd of December of this year. How do you see this reshaping the workforce management platform, EOR models, and the use of remote contractors across Europe?
It mostly influences the remote contractors, especially considering that some companies already have the presumption of employment, and they already have these requirements for if the employer or the company that requires services from a contractor is scheduling their time of work, is setting up their pay. So they are dictating the conditions. They give the vacation days, annual leave, sick leaves, etc. That this is presumed already as an employment, and the employment contract should be in place. Some other countries like Italy, I think, Ireland, they don't have this. And the EOR allows companies to quicker adopt the implement of contract of employment
Yeah.
for the people who are like one or two persons in a country, not to set a whole entity there.
Right.
Because it's very costly. It's going to cost you from 25k euro to 100 and more thousand euros, and 6, 7, 10 months. A lot of legal work involved, a lot of lawyers involved, and this is something you would not automate with the AI, you know. So a lot of companies already use the employer of records. I personally also discovered this topic because our company has people working from different countries.
Absolutely.
And it's going to make no sense for us to launch an entity, 5 entities, you know, in 5 countries.
We've seen a huge increase in employer of record business within our organization as well. So there are a lot of benefits to
Yes.
using a EOR solution. Now, Anna, with regards to this workforce act that they need to implement. This will be different from each country once they adopt this directive into their local laws? Or is it going to be something that will be quite broadly used at the same across all Europe?
No, I don't think it's going to be something broadly used because every country has their own legislation and just not going to work. Something that works in Spain would not work in Portugal. For example, in Spain, they already have those employers of records, and you can do this process with someone in Spain. Whilst in Portugal, as far as I know, from the people I communicated with from the EOR, that this is impossible to get an employment contract for someone whose entity is not in Portugal. So it's going to be adopted per each country, and we're not going to expect this adoption very quickly because
Right.
it's gonna take a lot of peculiarities in each country. I recently spoke with a candidate who is now consulting a company, EOR company. He's in Bulgaria. He's from Bulgaria, so he's very well aware of the Bulgarian legislation and the labor law. And he said, frankly, that Anna, they didn't realize how complex it's going to be in Bulgaria to actually have this opportunity for the employer of record. And something that was supposed to be like a 2-3 months consultancy is now 6 months already.
Yes, it
It's
all
going to be
depends.
very, very individual.
AI regulations are coming, whether we want it or not, and it will definitely impact the future of how we work. Recently, Oracle has cut up to 30,000 jobs in 2026, which is roughly about 18% of their global workforce, explicitly to be funding an AI infrastructure. We've seen Meta, Microsoft, Salesforce, Amazon, Google really following similar patterns. What signals does this send to recruiters and to candidates?
First of all of us, recruiters and candidates, should reshape their skill set. uh, we should, like I myself, have considered what I'm doing on a daily basis and how I can automate part of my job tasks. And if you find those tasks, you should automate them first of all. Then you can make your work faster and more productive. And by the way, it's a great chance, a great time to change your job, to change the area, the sphere where you work. But yes, every one of us should think and work on reshaping the skills, adding some AI systems to the skill set, but not just for the sake of knowing that I use AI,
Yeah, yeah.
but to really use it on max to make your work more productive and work faster. Since I started using AI, I started to do a lot of tasks much faster, and it gives me more time to procrastinate.
Absolutely. Oh, to procrastinate.
Yes.
Yeah, that's another challenge we have in 2026. There's constant headlines in social media. We're talking about reshaping your job and we're talking about learning new skills. But what we see across social media at the moment is really setting that fear element that everyone's going to lose their jobs either to new AI systems, platforms, or robots taking over. As the head of recruitment, how exaggerated do you think this fear is?
I think it's exaggerated. It is. It's not the first time we not okay. We for the first time experienced such kind of revolution, but the humanity already experienced something similar before, when a lot of new plants were built and lots of people went from villages to big cities. To so this already happened. The technology takes over. The thing is that we are just afraid of something unknown. We don't know which positions will appear tomorrow. And once we know what we should learn and how we should adapt. So we should just give it some time and see how the market evolves. Something that we already know, that we should definitely know how to use ChatGPT and how to teach it to actually read what you're telling them, because
Absolutely.
it still
Nothing
doesn't.
annoys me more when somebody just copy pastes a chat GPT
Yeah.
letter or document that still has the references of
Yeah, here's
ChatGPT.
the
Yes,
revised letter for
exactly.
you. So the problem is not that there are going to be no jobs. There would be other jobs. I myself know that tomorrow I will not be replaced by AI, but I don't know what's going to happen in 1 year. And I just think that um, I'm open to learn something new. It's actually, the doctors, that's the people who are saving our lives, they have to learn all the time. You're not a good doctor if you haven't upgraded your skill set every year or every year or two. Same goes with any other IT profession. You still have to be on the trend, you still have to see what other people use.
Absolutely.
And it's not always only about AI. AI just makes it faster.
It's constant learning, constant
Yes, yes,
evolving your skills.
exactly.
Now, looking into the recruitment processes and your day-to-day work, and of course, using AI, what are you as a recruiter looking for or watching out for when you are interviewing candidates?
So we don't want, of course, the candidate to be using AI during the interview to Google for answers, to even sometimes they use it when they want to mimic someone. They have this other people's faces on their face,
Have you experienced that before?
Thanks God, no. I
Right.
personally haven't experienced it yet, probably because I work in a very niche domain.
Hmm.
It's quite small. It's big, but it's small.
Right.
And when you know that someone uses that, they might no longer work in this industry anymore. So
I get it.
a
I
lot
get
of
it.
people, yeah, they care about their
Hmm.
reputation. If they don't care, then okay, but I definitely saw some videos in YouTube or TikTok, I think, of recordings of those interviews where uh, the person was using this service to make the other facial expression, or they like simply what I experienced. They were reading the answers from the screen, like
Yeah, the eye
this, the
movement.
eye movement, or especially maybe it would be a hint for the candidates when they have glasses on. You can see reflection in their glasses. And yeah, when you ask, sometimes we are being asked by the hiring managers to ask something technical in the call, just to for them to understand right away if it's worth moving forward with the candidate. And we as recruiters ask something like, what is this technology, or how do you use this technology? And they start googling, and you can see it in their reflection of their glasses, that new windows appear, and they like, 1 second, 1 second. Yeah, it's
Okay,
not.
so playing for time to be able
Yeah.
to pull up whatever screen they're
Yes,
reading
yes.
from.
So this is something that, of course, will not be a green flag during the interview.
Hmm.
On the other hand, what we as recruiters are looking for in an interview is the genuinity of the person's answer, how they give the answer. It's not always even about what they say. Sometimes it's about how they say. Again, it depends heavily on what the company is looking for, who the company is looking for, what skill set, what soft skill set, and a lot of other patterns that I cannot even start mentioning,
Hmm.
because this is something that comes um, for recruiters during their work experience, when you learn to conduct the HR interviews, because it's a skill you have to learn. And this is something I would never delegate to AI, because it
Right.
might heavily misunderstand what the candidate meant, especially if we're speaking about some national peculiarities. I'm Ukrainian, and then when I speak with someone who's Ukrainian, we can talk about something that only we would know. I don't know, something in my native city of Dnipro, like our
Just
mayor.
cultural
Yeah, cultural
connection.
connections,
Yeah.
So the chat GPT or any other AI thing might think that it's inappropriate to discuss it in the call. And yes, it would be right. But it's not something that never happens in a workplace. So it's like a very minor example I'm sharing with you. But yeah, it's very important to have this human touch in the interview.
Now, we touched on ChatGPT before and we're looking at how perhaps it can get things wrong, but also they can get things right. Is it really, from a technical element, looking at either relocation risk reports or compliance checklists? They can produce these in seconds for you. Many say it is like having 20 lawyers at a cost of £19 working for you around the clock. Is this a dangerous oversimplification?
It's definitely an oversimplification, and everyone who has ever used ChatGPT to do some factual check would experience that it lies. It
Right.
it lies bluntly. You cannot ask it if you can do or you cannot do something. If you say you were wrong, it would say yes, I'm sorry, I was wrong, and it happens constantly. So I would say that ChatGPT or any other AI tool that works like a chat is very useful for reshaping some information, for making it more legal, for example, more legal sounding, or more product sounding, or more selling, or
Right.
anything. But you would still have to do the factual check if this is true, if you were requesting something from the AI agent, AI system, or anything. I personally encountered it recently. I was just curious about the again, legal perspective, visa perspective. If you can travel as a Ukrainian citizen from Spain to Gibraltar without the British visa. I was 99% sure you cannot.
Right.
And the ChatGPT said you can if you have a Spanish resident permit. I do have a Spanish resident permit, but I wasn't able to go there. I was not allowed to pass the border because I didn't have a visa. I was almost sure it was lying to me, and I've revised lots of sources to find the information about the visa. But I was there, so I said, "Why not to try?" And yes, it's a lie.
It was a lie.
It was a lie. Yeah, I
Interesting.
was not surprised, but again, it's not like I planned all my travel around that area, you know, it was just a coincidence. And what about when the chat lies you about something really important? Or
Yes,
it
the
gives you
impact it
a
will have.
very inaccurate contract of employment for someone, and you make your director and your employee sign it, and then who's going to be responsible for that? No, it's not gonna cost you £20, £19 to hire 20 lawyers. Never. You still have to hire them.
It just reinforces the importance to get the professional input responses, although you may consider it as initial informative tool that shares with you the basic information. Going to companies and asking professional advice at the end of the day will always still be there.
Yes. Yes.
Now, the contracts is important. References, of course, both of us use it in our day-to-day work. It's part of our business, what we do. Recently, information I read about is the smart contracts on blockchain, and it's starting to appear a lot more in the HR and recruitment procedures, helping credential verifications, milestone-based contract payments, making things a lot faster. Is this a real productivity story for recruiters, or is it mostly still a hype?
I would think it's mostly a hype. To be honest, I personally haven't encountered the use of it anywhere. Since we work in a consultancy company, I have to cooperate with a lot of different companies from different cultures, from different jurisdictions, and each and every company uses the same way, the same
Right.
approach. Even those that are on the top, you know, those who are much faster than us, for example. And it would be very convenient to have this blockchain to be able to get the reference check without any lies or not truthful information, where you don't spend a week of catching on those contacts and getting a feedback, and you're not sure if it's real or not, or checking the candidates' education or their work experience. However, I personally see that there is um, a blocker because every country has their own database, and I'm not sure they're gonna share it with each other uh, just like that. And maybe there will be a day when we have this general database of the whole world.
Universal
Universal,
database,
yes,
yes.
yes, and we're gonna go to Mars then.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I haven't encountered it in my workflow. So unfortunately, I think it's mostly a hype. And especially if we're speaking about the smart contracts where the employees are getting paid automatically because they finish some task. First of all, it's not always uh, you finish the task, which might not even been there, in the first place. I think you also faced it when you have ambitious plans for the quarter.
Right?
The OKRs, the plans are just like that. And then by the end of the quarter, everything was changed.
Absolutely.
So
Constantly
the initial contract is already not being
fulfilled.
contracted and fulfilled. And how is the contract gonna know that you actually did your job and you are to be paid?
Yes.
This is one thing I thought right away because it's the it's what happens all the time in every company. Secondly, a lot of people still prefer to be paid traditionally, bank
Bank transfers,
transfers,
yeah, yeah.
because they have obligations in their countries. For example, in Spain, where I reside now, the tax is very interesting there, tax system, and everything you receive should be documented. The crypto payments are not, they are not very crypto friendly country. So I'm not even sure how it's going to work there, especially for those who, like me, require a visa to be there legally. So yeah, I would be among those people like who still want to be old fashioned and paid in a normal way.
Microsoft has rolled out Copilot, Cowork, and Agent 365, hitting around 20 million paid Copilot seats. Offices are working and moving towards a model where each person, human being, is working alongside an AI agent. Are virtual offices with AI assistants something recruiters and HR teams are generally operating in today?
A lot of recruiters use AI agents in their day to day work. Actually, they can do the outreach, they can speak with the candidates, for example, they can even schedule the interviews and send the invitations, record the interviews, send out the transcript of the conversation, summarize it, send it over to the system that you want it to be sent to the person you want to receive it. But of course, you have to make this
Right.
right. You have
Yeah.
to put the prompt for the agent on how to behave and which systems to interact with. Sometimes it requires you few agents to work on that because maybe one agent would not be able to do all of this. Again, what AI agent is. It's the system that can do something for you, unlike ChatGPT, which is just
A chat.
giving you the
Yes.
answer. If you ask it, it just doesn't go to you, knock, knock, I'm here with your task, right? And the agent is like almost an autonomous being doing something. However, again, now we're thinking about the new directive, and the final touch would still be on the human side, so the agent would not be able to cover the whole process. Of course, I would still recommend recruiters to learn how to work with agents. I myself still have a lot to learn there and to implement it on in my daily work. But AI agent will not just work without the human unless you give them the task. It would not be able to
Right. So
perform
there's
it.
a dependence on the human guide
Yes.
action.
Hopefully it will stay like this. Otherwise, we will gonna face something like in Terminator, because this is when the robots started to think themselves. And I was already thinking that, yeah, we're there when I read about this mode book, I think, the social platform for AI
Right.
agents.
Yes.
But thankfully, it was created by a person,
Okay.
and it's only a person who can register the AI agent in this system. It's like a Reddit. So they ask some questions, and the agents answer those questions, and it's done completely by the agents. I haven't tried it
There's
myself.
agents interacting with each other, or
Yes.
there's the human asking the
No,
questions
as
and
I understood, the agents are interacting with each other, but you still, as a human, have to register the agent there, so
right.
it would be able to do something. And I was going to test it actually, but it would take too much of my time just
Right.
to for fun. So I haven't yet, but I think that still there is some um, restrictions that you can give as a human to your agent, what to write, what not to write. Otherwise, it can be quite damaging to you. Who knows?
Because the agent keeps learning, right? So
Yes.
with the transaction of conversing with other agents, they will be collecting data and information.
And perhaps you don't want this information to be collected, and you don't want your agent to grasp this way of talking or these words or how the other agents communicate. Or the other agents might be lying, and your agent would think it's true and again lie to you. So it's very, very complex. And the actual use of AI agents is complicated because a lot of chains are there, and anything might go wrong on every step of the chain. So if you it's like in a code, the developers, I'm not a developer, but I work with a lot of them, so I know if you make a minor mistake in some like comma or dot in your code, it would not work. And the same here, if you don't do the prompt properly, or some systems is down, because sometimes websites are down, or
Absolutely.
the whole chain would not work. And you would think that the email was sent, and the candidate was contacted, and the interview was recorded, and the transcript was sent, but it was not. And this is where the humans should interact. I would still check whether the agent did all the job. Maybe because I'm over anxious about the job results, or maybe because I still don't trust them to be doing it on themselves. Because us people, we do mistakes, and we are the ones who created this soul. So it would definitely work not correctly sometimes. Besides, for the system can go wrong on any step of the process, you can still encounter the hallucinated decisions and something that the agent just made out of thin air, something that doesn't exist. I wouldn't say I can see it being used in recruitment so much, but again, personally, I use Note Taker a lot because I have a lot of calls and I don't want to be distracted by taking notes, forgetting some name or some number. So the Note Taker is greatly helping me with the transcription. And sometimes I want the ChatGPT to summarize what was discussed, and I still remember what was discussed. I just want it to be written without my interaction because I'm going to write it much longer than ChatGPT. And it tends to hallucinate and make up some random companies or random words that have never been mentioned in dialogue, or some numbers that don't even exist there. Again, it's also the quality of the transcript, because sometimes
Yes.
it's not be able to get the accents
From people, yeah.
from people, so you have to pay a more expensive version of the system for it.
And these tools we are using under the new act, we will, we will be required to make that public, these tools, or share the information with candidates. Let's say you do your recruiting process, you've gone through it. Do you need to notify and share the information because you used an AI tool? And what is your opinion on that?
I think yes, it should be announced, maybe not in a public way, like on a website or something, but probably in the job description, or when you invite someone for the interview, to send them over a message that this would be recorded, for example. Or if we're speaking about CV screening, I haven't noticed any company saying that hello, your CV would be screened automatically
Hmm.
and it might be not even seen by a real person. But lots of companies actually use the tools to automatically unmatch the CVs because of the keywords. I personally do not trust keywords too much because you might not add all possible keywords there. Or some keywords would be there, but the experience is completely
Irrelevant.
irrelevant,
Hmm.
yes. But I guess that use of such systems should be announced to the candidate. And apart from that, the process of how it can be used. You cannot just use your account on this system to help your friend with their, I don't know, side job and help them
Right.
hire someone. Lots of recruiters do freelancing uh, as a part-time, or they help their friends. I hear it a lot. I'm helping my friend hiring someone. So
Yeah. You see them not mostly on LinkedIn posts,
yes,
isn't it? They share it.
exactly. When you are just freelancing, that's completely okay. But if you're using your company's software, this is where I think this act would go in force, because it's gonna be under companies' responsibility that you used this system for this specific person, and I don't know, maybe the person didn't sign the
Right.
agreement, and they would sue the company for, like, if there is legal ground for that, to
Hmm.
sue the company. I'm not sure how it's gonna work, but I'm thinking in the worst direction that
Absolutely.
possible.
Prepare yourself.
Yes, and probably the processes would be implemented and some audit checks would take place in a few years' time.
Anna, have you seen um, a shift into recruitment using online Zoom or team calls with candidates? We touched on candidates using certain AI tools. Would you consider people moving more towards the face to face interviews to try and avoid situations or circumstances where AI tools are used to ensure that the individual you're communicating, you're having a genuine interview with that person?
It's an interesting thought. I haven't encountered this shift towards the face to face meetings in offices, because a lot of companies still hire from other countries and they don't require the person to be physically presented in the office, or they offer the person to relocate, which we often deal with at the company. And still, it's going to cost too much money for the company
Right.
to make the travel arrangements for the person, for each person they're going to interview.
Hmm.
So I haven't noticed that. However, some positions have always been um, too important for the company to only stick to the online interviews. Let's say C-level managers, directors, VPs. Those candidates often go through 4, 5, 6 stages of interviews online, and they would still travel to maybe some conference or to the office where they can meet with the decision maker
Hmm.
and align personally. However, again, I don't think that the roles of such a level, uh, lead, head, director, etc., can or would often use AI during their interviews, because if we're not speaking about technical jobs where it's technical interview and you have to answer something about, I don't know, a language of programming or some
Right. Yeah.
database, it's always focused, it's more focused on the achievements and something that was done, implemented by the person. And this is where the AI should hallucinate during their answer and start giving some absurd recommendations to the candidate.
So you can catch them out during the interview
Yeah,
process.
so definitely this level of candidates, they would either not use the AI, or if they use it because they are actually not on this level, they will be caught right away. So I think it makes sense to conduct some interviews on site. Again, you have to think critically and uh, it's not always useful. You don't have to do it for each and every role.
Right. Anna, there's a question I wanted to touch on with regards to the digital nomad visa. As you are in the recruiting industry, have you seen this type of services influence your recruiting pools? Did you see a lot more interest in certain countries of candidates coming forward, or have you seen a shrink in pools of certain other countries due to these new visa benefits being presented by EU countries?
Yes, a lot of candidates who are non-European Union nationals, they now have the possibility to reside in, for example, in Malta, in Spain, in Italy. I think there are a lot of countries, Cyprus, for example, without the necessity of being employed in these countries. So they can get a visa based on their services contract, based on their individual entrepreneurship experience in Ukraine, for
Right.
example, uh, other countries, Georgia, Armenia, Belarus, etc. However, the process is not that simple. You don't just apply for it and get a green light that, yes, you can reside here. It's still a bureaucracy nightmare
Mm-hmm.
to to go through, and it still takes you several months of time to prepare the documents, to get prepared to prepare the documents. I can share the details on how it works in Spain. In Spain, in order to get a digital nomad visa, you have to prove to the country that you have been working with the same company as an IE for over 3 months as a service provider,
Mm-hmm.
and that your IE is being registered for over 3 months,
Right.
and it's in your country of origin. So if I am Ukrainian, I cannot register an IE here in Cyprus and use it as a proof of me being
For Spain.
for Spain.
Right.
I don't know why, but this is the law. This is how it works in Spain. Uh, then they would consider if you are getting enough of payment, because there is a minimal payment that you have to show every year to pass this check. And they will give you the green light or not give it to you. And then you have to pass another step in Spain. You have to open an autonomo there. So it's like, again, an IE, but in Spain.
Okay.
And it requires you, again, several steps. Usually, a lot of people use services of lawyers or some helpers that support you through this way, because everything is in Spanish. And if you do not speak Spanish fluently, you might not be able to pass this way alone. So you have to keep in mind that every country has their own peculiarities, not just to rely on that the European Union is welcoming more digital nomads and making this path simpler. Maybe the union is, but each and every country has their own rules, and you should uh, definitely discover what these rules are before you make a decision and go to some country. Because if you are a non-European Union citizen, you have limited amount of time
Mm-hmm.
to do that while you're in the country. You have only 3 months to arrange all of that.
The Cyprus digital nomad visa works slightly different than in Spain. The requirement for the IE to be registered in the country of origin is not required in Cyprus, and nor having that set up in the country of residence as well. The main requirement is the monthly income being 3,500 or more, the services to be provided online, the income, the salary to be paid by a body from out of Cyprus, an external entity. The visas are, although the permits are expanded to family members as well, but they are not able to work in Cyprus. These permits are extendable for a year, maximum 2 years, and a total of 3 years. And there's a limited amount available in Cyprus. Originally 100 visas given, but it has now been extended to 500.
So Cyprus is attracting those highly paid, highly qualified specialists who can't find job in Cyprus, but to relocate here and live here and pay taxes here.
This brings us to the end of our podcast. If you like the content we shared today, please like, subscribe, and share comments. It will definitely help us to produce our next series of podcasts.